Hey TikTok. So I wanted to share a little something with you today because I know people like to come on here and talk about their childhood trauma. Now for me, my childhood trauma consisted of me being SA'd when I was a little girl, and that went on for an entire year of my life. And I didn't tell anybody about it. There was also the verbal abuse that I received on a regular basis. So when I was a kid in school, I wasn't very popular and I was picked on all of the time, every single day. School was just hell for me. I hated it. I was the dorky kid. Kids would pick on me. They would call me all kinds of horrible things, which is part of the reason why I'm such a loving person today, because I don't ever want anybody to feel the way that other people have made me feel in my life. If I'm not elevating you, then I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Besides the point, I was verbally abused at home. So my dad, he's always found humor in picking on people. So he would pick out a fault or a flaw within you and pick on you for that. So I have a little bit of an overbite. I've had that ever since I was a kid. Well, my dad would say things to me, and this is going to not make sense to some of the younger generation, but he would say, "Hey, Bucky Beaver, why don't you go in the backyard and gnaw down a tree?" Or how about when I started developing? And I was very flat-chested, and my dad would say, "Oh, you're flat as a board." He always had comments like this to make, always picking out somebody else's flaws and making a joke about it. Well, my father-in-law passed away a little while ago, and we were at his funeral, and my little girl, she's grown, she's an adult, but she had just went through and looked at her grandfather for the last time and was saying her goodbyes. And as soon as she went through that line, there was my dad. And he began to start picking on her like he did me when I was a kid. That day ended her relationship with him. Not by my choice, but by hers. Flash forward several months later, and I make an attempt to see my father. We had moved. It would have been the first time I would have actually been able to spend some time with him since we had moved out of town in 2 years. And he had an event going on that day at his church. And his event at his church was more important than him taking the time out to spend a little bit of time with his daughter that he hadn't seen in 2 years. So I cried myself home that day. But that was the last day I spoke to him, and I probably won't ever speak to him again. Sometimes you have to value yourself more